The smoke in Tehran hadn't cleared, but the world had already pivoted. Across continents, stock markets trembled and intelligence agencies buzzed. From Tel Aviv to Moscow, Beijing to Berlin, the unspoken truth echoed louder than any headline. Someone had broken the rules of modern warfare. No declaration, no television address, just silence. And then a scream. Inside the White House, behind triple-sealed doors, the president stared at a satellite game. Where once lay the Shahid Badr facility, there was now a crater. Even the mountain looked hollowed. On another monitor, Iranian retaliation lit up in red across a world map. He turned to his national security advisor. "What happens next?" The man swallowed. "We're in a war, sir, but it's the kind no one wants to name." In a dark room in Isfahan, engineers work by flashlight. Their server farm, part of Iran's State AI Development Center, had gone offline during the U.S. cyber sweep. But these men were loyal to something greater than command. They were loyal to vengeance. They weren't rebuilding, they were upgrading. New algorithms, stronger redundancy, firewalls that adapted, offensive code that mutated. They didn't want a counterstrike, they wanted to become invisible, like the enemy. Meanwhile, in Syria, a convoy moved through night fog, escorted by IRGC Quds Force units. Inside were missile components, GPS jamming tech, and chemical shells. None of it officially existed. But war didn't need official records. War only needed resolve. And Iran had plenty of that left. Arman's family buried his uncle beneath a broken olive tree. There was no graveyard left. The nearest village cemetery had been vaporized by bunker shockwaves. At night, Arman spoke for the first time in 2 weeks. "I saw the sky fall," he whispered. His sister hugged him. His father wept quietly. In Nevada, Cole Shepard sat across from a Department of Defense psychologist. She was asking questions about dreams. Cole wasn't interested. "Do you feel responsible?" she asked. "I feel awake," he replied. Outside, a B-2 Spirit idled on the tarmac. Its belly now held a new payload, smaller, smarter. It wouldn't shake the ground, but it would disable a capital city's infrastructure in 8 minutes flat. The war didn't get louder. It got quieter. Cities stopped firing missiles. They started losing lights. Then heat. Then water. Hospitals went dark. Banks froze. Planes grounded. Elevators halted. In the quiet, Iran's digital warriors unleashed chaos across global networks. One day, an Israeli defense satellite spun out of orbit. Another day, Turkish airspace vanished from civilian radar. A German power plant exploded. Not from heat, but from manipulated control code. There were no fingerprints, only echoes. The United Nations met, but words fell apart. The U.S. wanted condemnation of cyber terrorism. Iran demanded recognition of illegal aggression. Russia, silent for weeks, moved 2 submarines into the Arabian Sea. China stopped answering U.S. trade calls. Israel's Iron Dome fired, accidentally or not, at a passenger drone, and people died. Not soldiers, civilians. Ones without ideology, without power. Lisa Tran was stationed in Guam now. She hadn't flown since the night of the drop. Every morning she stared at the ocean, waiting for her mind to stop replaying the bunker caving in. "They never heard it coming," she told Cole once. "We weren't supposed to warn them," he'd replied. Neither had slept well since. In Mashhad, protests began. Not against the West, but against silence. Mothers carried pictures of sons buried by steel. A teenage girl held a sign. "Who protects the innocent from the invisible?" The regime cracked down, phones confiscated, journalists detained, but the images leaked anyway. Cole was called back for one final mission. He didn't ask what the target was. He didn't care. He flew the B-2 into a world that had gone too quiet. No speeches, no parades, just coordinates and a countdown. But something changed. Just before payload confirmation, the command center went dark. Every system, every screen. Iran had struck back, digitally. Not with fire, but with silence. The same silence the B-2 had used. Cole and Lisa were forced to abort. Their own aircraft, deaf to orders, was now a prisoner of war in the sky. In a classroom in northern Iran, a teacher spoke to students by candlelight. Once there were birds that flew so high they forgot the ground, but the ground never forgot them. Arman raised his hand. Are we the birds? No, the teacher said. We're the ones who hear their wings and still hope. In Washington, Tehran, Tel Aviv, screens flickered, and then black. The war had not ended, but the world had changed forever.